All right, boys and girls, today we're looking at using bar graphs, lesson 2.4, and we're on page 107. And as always, we're going to look at Unlock the Problem to start out. It says here that a bar graph uses bars to show data. A scale of equally spaced numbers helps you read the number each bar shows. And it's called a bar graph because, well, these things here look like bars, right? Okay, so the students in the reading group made a bar graph to record the number of books they read in October. How many books did Seth read? Okay, all right, so let's take a look here at this note. The title tells what the bar graph is about, so just like our frequency tables or tally charts or picture graphs, we have a title right here, okay? And the length of a bar tells how many books each student read. And the scale is 0 to 16 by 2s. And here's our scale right here. Okay, 0 to 16 by 2s. And we have to make sure each bar is labeled with a student's name when we go to make our own. We'll make sure that we have labels here. Also notice there is kind of a title for that section here, just like we had titles for our sections on the tally charts. And number of books here too, just like we wrote before. We would write number or tallies or something like that on our other graphs. So we still have all that same information, but in a bar graph. Okay, so let's take a look at the bottom here, and it says, find the bar for Seth. It ends at blank. So I'm going to erase a few things here, just to kind of clean it up. There we go. Okay, finding the bar for Seth, and that he is right here. He's the green bar, okay? And it ends at blank. It ends right here, and that, if we follow it straight down, ends at 8, right? So it ends at 8. So Seth read 8 books in October, okay? All right, let's I'm going to erase a few more things here, and let's read these 3 questions down at the very bottom. The first one says, how many books did Max read? So we have to come up here. We find Max. His bar ends right here at the end, and we follow it straight down, and it ends at the 6. So Max read 6 books. Number 2, who read 4 fewer books than Kate? So we have to go up and find Kate. And here is Kate, and she read 12 books. We follow that straight down, and we need 4 fewer than Kate, so 12 minus 4, is 8. So we have to find somebody who read 8 books. Again, Kate read 12 minus the 4, and that's 8. So up here, here's 8, and we just go straight up till we find 8, and we already know that is Seth. So who read 4 fewer books than Kate? That was Seth. He read 8 books. All right. And then the last question, what if Amy read 5 more books? How many books did Amy read? Shade the graph to show how many she read. So 5 more for Amy, right? Well, Amy's right here. Let me erase this part right here. Hang on just a second. There we go. All right. And I'm going to put Amy in red. Amy's right here. If we follow that straight down, it's right between the 8 and the 10. And that number, you should be saying to yourself, is 9. So she read 9. And the question's saying, what if she read 5 more? Well, 9 plus 5 is 14. So I have to come all the way out here. Here's 14. And go up to there. And that's where she's going to stop. Now I need to color that in. I'm going to switch over to blue and finish off the bar and shade it in. So that's what it would look like, stopping at the 14. But the question is, what if she read 5 more books? How many books did she read? And we would need to put in 14 here. So you need to have 14 here, and for this one, have your new bar drawn as well. Okay, that does it for that page. Let's slide on over to the next page, and we're on page 108 now for some more examples. And When we look up here at the top, these bar graphs show the same data. Okay. Now, as you look at the pictures, there's one obvious difference. In this one, the bars are going sideways, and over on this one here, the bars are going up and down. Okay. So they're the same type of information, slightly different name for each one. Sorry about that. Okay. Now, this guy right here, okay, it is a horizontal bar graph, as they tell us right there. Okay, that's a horizontal bar graph. The bars go left to right. That's why it's called horizontal. Okay, the length of the bar shows the number. And then on the other one, this one right here, that's called a vertical bar graph, and the bars go up from the bottom. Again, the height of the bar shows the number. So if we look at question number 4, right here, what does each space between two numbers represent? Okay, so if we look here, and if we look right here, we have a scale of 0, 4, 8. They're counting by 4s in this one. And I would assume they're count by 4s here as well. 0, 4, 8, 12. Again, counting by 4s. So what does each space between two numbers represent? It's the numbers between. The numbers between. Okay? And here's what that means. If we look up here, and let's look at 8 to 12, so the numbers in between them would be 9 and 10 and 11, for example. Okay? So it's just the numbers between the two that are actually written down. And question number 5, right here, why do you think the scale in the graphs is 0 to 28 by 4s instead of 0 to 28 by 1s? Well, just like before we've talked about scale, if we did it by 1s, I'll write that down even, by 1s, the scale is, or the graph would be way too big, right? The graph would be too big. Would be, I'm going to slide on down to the other line here, too big. All right, period. And it did ask, what other scale could you use? Well, 0 to 28, and actually it ends at 24. The highest is a 24 on either one. So you could go by 6s or 2s. That might work as well. Okay, so count by 2 or 6. Okay, and again, we want, just like our picture graphs, we want our scale to match up with the numbers that we're using. So if it's a high number, we'll need to use a big scale. Like if it's things are up to 100, maybe we count by 10s or something. If it's really small, like maybe you're only showing 4 or 5 things, like the amount or the number of students is only 4 or 5, then we could even have a scale of 1, right? So it all has to match up with how many votes or how many people you're trying to show in your bar graph. All right, guys, that's it for me. Go ahead and do share and show section, questions 1 through 3, using this bar graph right here. That's a horizontal bar graph. After you do those 3, please show me your answers. I'll check, make sure you're on the right track, and then you can start working on your assignment. Have a great time, everybody. Good luck. And as always, this is Mr. P, and I am out.